Something strange is happening at the edge of our solar system. Voyager 1 vanished into the dark for 5 long months until it sent back a cryptic signal. What did it find out there? A wall of plasma? A cosmic anomaly? Or something far more mysterious? In this video, we'll dive into hidden oceans on alien moons, shocking space discoveries NASA didn't expect, and a golden message traveling to the stars forever. What if the edge of our solar system isn't a quiet void, but a frontier hiding secrets we were never meant to find? Nearly 50 years ago, NASA launched 2 small spacecraft, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. They were meant to explore the outer planets and then simply drift away. But that's not what happened. Instead, they uncovered active volcanoes on alien moons, oceans beneath frozen surfaces, invisible barriers of cosmic energy, and something strange waiting in the dark. And just recently, in 2024, Voyager 1 came back online after months of eerie silence with a message that defied expectations. It was 1977. Humanity had never seen Neptune up close. We didn't even know if Europa had an ocean, and we had no idea what lay beyond the outer planets. But then, something happened. A rare planetary alignment is something that only happens once every 175 years. All the outer planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, lined up like stepping stones through the solar system. NASA saw an opportunity that couldn't be ignored. 2 identical spacecraft were built, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Small, fragile by today's standards, and powered by less computing power than a digital watch. But their mission was ambitious. They used the gravity of each planet to slingshot from one to the next and interplanetary leapfrog. Voyager 2 launched first on August 20th, 1977. Then Voyager 1 followed on September 5th. But thanks to a faster route, it quickly overtook its twin. Just 13 days after liftoff, Voyager 1 captured a photo of Earth and the Moon from 7.2 million miles away, a tiny marble floating in blackness. Originally, the mission was supposed to last only 4 years, just Jupiter and Saturn. That's it. But the engineers behind Voyager had a secret plan. They quietly designed its trajectory so that, if the spacecraft survived, it could keep going into deep space, beyond the Sun. What they didn't expect was that Voyager would not only survive, but uncover things no one on Earth was prepared for. Jupiter was supposed to just be a pit stop. But what Voyager found there shook the scientific world and revealed that our solar system was far more alive and dangerous than we ever imagined. As Voyager approached Jupiter, scientists braced for the unexpected cloud bands, moons, and maybe a few new surprises. What they got was a revelation. For the first time in human history, we saw Jupiter's rings, faint, delicate structures hidden in plain sight. But that was only the beginning. Voyager 1 zoomed past Io, one of Jupiter's many moons, and captured something no one had imagined: a massive volcano erupting into space. An active volcano on a moon. It was the first direct evidence of volcanic activity beyond Earth, and it changed the way we saw our solar system. These weren't just frozen rocks orbiting planets. They were alive. Then came Europa. Covered in bright, cracked ice, it looked like a frozen lake. But something about it seemed off. The pattern suggested movement, something flowing beneath the surface. The idea was almost science fiction, an ocean beneath the ice. An ocean that could, even today, be hiding alien life. But Voyager didn't stop to ask questions. It moved on to Saturn. Saturn's rings were expected. What wasn't expected was how complex they were. Voyager revealed that the rings weren't a single sheet, but hundreds of individual bands, each shaped by hidden moons and gravity we didn't fully understand. And then there was Titan, a giant moon with a thick orange atmosphere. Voyager 1 flew closer than any probe had before, trying to peek beneath the haze. But Titan refused to give up its secrets. Its surface remained hidden, That one decision to get a closer look at Titan meant Voyager 1 would never visit Uranus or Neptune. That journey was left to Voyager 2, which was quietly preparing to explore two of the strangest planets in the solar system. Uranus spins on its side. Neptune has winds faster than sound. But what Voyager found there wasn't just weird. It challenged everything we thought we knew about the outer planets and what lies beyond them. As Voyager 2 left Saturn behind, it entered uncharted territory. First stop, Uranus, a planet so strange it tilts sideways as if it had been knocked over by a cosmic punch. Scientists expected another gas giant like Jupiter, but Uranus had secrets. Beneath its thin atmosphere of hydrogen and helium, Voyager discovered a vast ocean of icy fluids, toxic soup of water, ammonia, and methane. It was cold, hauntingly cold. In fact, Uranus turned out to be the coldest planet in the solar system. Then came Neptune, the most distant planet Voyager would ever visit. And Neptune wasn't quiet. Voyager 2 found winds faster than the speed of sound and massive storms spinning across its surface. Some of the most violent weather in the entire solar system. But the real gem was Triton, one of Neptune's moons. Against all odds, Voyager 2 watched as frozen nitrogen geysers erupted from the surface. A world colder than anything we've ever visited, but still active. These weren't just balls of ice and gas. They were dynamic, evolving worlds. In just a few years, Voyager had turned 8 distant orbs into living, breathing characters in the story of our solar system. And then came the final image. On Valentine's Day, 1990, Voyager 1, now billions of miles away, turned around and took one last photo. Earth appeared as a tiny speck suspended in a beam of sunlight, just 0.12 pixels wide. Carl Sagan called it the pale blue dot, a photo that reminded us just how small, fragile, and precious we really are. But Voyager's mission was far from over, because what waited beyond the planets would be stranger than anything we'd seen so far. As Voyager left the familiar behind, it crossed an invisible line and entered a region no human-made object had ever dared to explore. What it found beyond the sun's reach wasn't just empty space. It was a hidden battleground of forces we still don't fully understand. After its encounters with the giant planets, Voyager 1 kept going. No more moons to scan, no more planets to photograph. Just silence. For over 20 years, it drifted through the outer edge of the solar system, entering a vast and little understood region called the heliosheath turbulent zone, where the solar wind slows and the sun's magnetic field begins to unravel. Scientists watched carefully, and then, on August 25, 2012, it happened. Voyager 1 recorded a sudden drop in solar particles and a dramatic rise in high-energy cosmic rays. It had crossed the heliopause, the invisible boundary where the sun's influence ends and interstellar space begins. For the first time in history, a human-made object had left the solar bubble and entered the galaxy. Voyager 2 would follow 6 years later, in 2018, confirming what Voyager 1 had already begun to uncover. This region, once thought to be empty, is alive with radiation, plasma, and magnetic fields, and none of it behaves the way we expected. Even now, Voyager continues to send back data from this unexplored frontier, a whisper in the dark. But what those whispers reveal next is where the story takes a turn, because the deeper Voyager went, the stranger the data became, until scientists began to question if something was out there didn't want to be found. Because the deeper Voyager went, the stranger the data became, until scientists began to question if something was out there didn't want to be found. Why is the space beyond our solar system denser than we thought? Why do signals from Voyager sometimes come back wrong? In the next chapter, we dive into the anomalies, unexplained readings, shifting plasma, and one cosmic mystery that has even NASA scratching its head. When Voyager crossed into interstellar space, scientists expected the unknown, but they didn't expect this. The data streaming back from Voyager wasn't just surprising, it was confusing. For decades, we believed the solar wind, the stream of charged particles from the sun, would gradually weaken and thin out the farther it traveled. But Voyager showed us something different. At the edge of the heliosphere, the solar wind didn't fade, it crashed into something, like a cosmic wall. And instead of dissolving, it bent and wrapped around an invisible boundary, almost like the sun's influence was being repelled. Then came the plasma readings. The space beyond our solar system, supposedly a vacuum, was suddenly showing plasma 10 times denser than predicted. That doesn't make sense, not with current physics. And yet, Voyager kept detecting it. Even stranger, these plasma fields weren't stable. They moved, shifted, warped, as if something massive, something we can't see, was interfering with them. Some scientists have even speculated that we may be brushing against an interstellar structure, perhaps the edge of another star's influence, or something else entirely. And then came the signal. In 2022, while over 14 billion miles away, Voyager 1 sent back chaotic, glitchy data strings of zeros and the number 377, repeating over and over. Was it damaged, a malfunction, or a message we don't yet understand? NASA eventually traced it to a memory error in the navigation system, likely caused by cosmic radiation. But even then, the pattern was too specific, too deliberate. Are we picking up interference from something or someone out there? But no matter what Voyager found or what it may have missed, it carried something precious with it. A golden record, a message from Earth, floating endlessly into the stars. What it says, and why it exists, might just be humanity's greatest hope for its last echo. Imagine this. Somewhere, drifting through the endless dark, there's a golden disk, carrying music, voices, and messages from Earth. A time capsule, floating through the stars. Both Voyager 1 and 2 were equipped with something no spacecraft had ever carried before or since. A gold-plated, copper record designed to last 1 billion years. It holds 90 minutes of music from across the world. Beethoven, Blind Willie Johnson, traditional songs from China, Peru, Senegal. It includes greetings in 55 languages, the sound of waves, laughter, footsteps, a kiss. There's even a recording of human brain waves of an actual person thinking about love, children, and the beauty of planet Earth. Why send all of this into space? Because Voyager was never just a science mission. It was a message in a bottle tossed into the cosmic ocean in case someone, or something, ever finds it. Carl Sagan, who helped design the record, said it best. The launching of this bottle into the cosmic ocean says something very hopeful about life on this planet. It's a reminder that despite war, fear, and chaos, humanity still dares to dream. We dared to speak into the dark and hope that someone is listening. But while Voyager's golden message was built to last, its systems weren't. And just recently, after nearly 50 years of flawless travel, something went terribly wrong. The spacecraft went silent, and no one knew if it would ever speak again. After more than 4 decades drifting in space, Voyager 1 suddenly went silent. On November 14, 2023, the spacecraft stopped sending readable data. What came through was nothing but gibberish streams of binary code that made no sense. For months, NASA listened and heard nothing but static. And just like that, our connection to the farthest human-made object in existence was gone. Some feared this was the end. Others held on. Then, in April 2024, after 5 long months of silence, NASA made a bold move. They suspected a corrupted chip had broken the onboard software, so designers decided to do something no one had ever tried before: reprogram Voyager from Earth 14.6 billion miles away. The signal would take 22.5 hours to arrive, another 22.5 hours for the response. That's nearly 2 full days between send and receive. One mistake, and the spacecraft could be lost forever. On April 18th, they sent the new code rerouting Voyager's communication system to use an undamaged section of memory. Then came the wait. And on April 20th, Voyager answered. After nearly half a century in space, against all odds, this tiny spacecraft built in the 70s was still alive, still listening, still speaking, still carrying our voice into the void. But Voyager's survival comes with a ticking clock. Its power is fading, and soon these spacecraft will go dark forever. So what happens next? Where will they go? And how long will their journey truly last? Voyager is still alive, but not for much longer. Each probe runs on a small nuclear power source consisting of 3 plutonium-filled generators that have been slowly decaying since the day of launch. By 2025, the energy will drop below the threshold needed to power its instruments. One by one, the systems will shut down. Cameras already went dark in the 1990s. Science sensors will follow, and eventually, the transmitter will fall silent. There will be no explosion, no dramatic failure, just silence. And yet, even without power, even without a voice, Voyager's mission isn't truly over. These spacecraft will continue drifting through interstellar space for millions of years, long after the Earth has changed, long after the cities have crumbled. Voyager 1 is heading toward the constellation Ophiuchus, and in 38,000 years, it will pass within 1.7 light-years of a faint star. Voyager 2 will cross near Ross 248, a red dwarf in Andromeda, in about 40,000 years. They'll keep floating, unbothered, untouched, eternal, silent witnesses to a species that once looked to the sky and dared to explore. And while we may never hear from them again, the universe just might. But the space they now drift through, the void beyond the planets, isn't as empty as it seems. In fact, we're learning that our solar system is surrounded by something massive, protective, strange, a bubble, invisible, yet vital to our survival. When we imagine space, we picture darkness, emptiness, cold silence, but the truth is far stranger. Our solar system, everything from the Sun to the edge of Voyager's path, is floating inside a massive invisible structure. It's called the local bubble. Roughly 1,000 light-years wide, it's a vast cavity in space, carved out millions of years ago by the shock waves of ancient supernova. Massive stars exploded, blowing away clouds of interstellar gas, and left behind a kind of cosmic cocoon. And inside the cocoon is us. The Sun only entered this bubble about 5 million years ago, right around the time early humans began to appear on Earth. Coincidence? Maybe. But here's what's truly wild. This bubble may be the reason we're still alive. The local bubble shields us from harsh interstellar radiation, slows down deadly cosmic rays, and makes the night sky more transparent, letting us see farther than we otherwise could. It's like the universe made space for us to look back at it. Some researchers call it the perfect quiet zone for intelligent life to emerge. And Voyager, drifting through its outer edge, is helping us understand just how fragile and rare that safety may be. Out there, beyond the bubble, lies chaos, radiation, dust, danger. But inside this vast invisible shield, we built telescopes, we sent spacecraft, we began to dream, we looked up, and we reached out. And now, a final question. Why does all of this matter? Why send a machine into the void with music, voices, and love? Because Voyager isn't just a mission. It's a mirror of who we are and who we might become. Voyager is no longer just a spacecraft. It's a message in the dark, still traveling, still whispering, long after we've gone quiet. On board, a golden record carries our voices, Our music, the sound of Earth. We didn't send it to conquer. We sent it to connect. To say, we were here, we dared to explore, and we dreamed of something greater. Voyager is our legacy, drifting between the stars, a reminder that even in the vast silence of space, humanity left a note. If this story moved you, if it made you look at the night sky a little differently, you're not alone, because this is just one chapter in the epic journey of space exploration. Watch this video to find out what new adventure is following next.